Okay, let's make a start. So good morning and welcome to the first Procurement Pulse of 2024. Firstly, a bit of housekeeping. All cameras and microphones have been disabled and this webinar is being recorded and your name may be visible. We do edit the recording after this event and which we'll upload onto our YouTube channel. So check it out, KCS Procurement Services. I'm Richard, part of the Direct Channel team. You may have noticed there is no MJ today, because unfortunately, due to illness, he can't be with us, but he does send his apologies. So get well soon, MJ. Let's start the year off with a special treat for you all, as we have two special guests with us today. So I'd like to welcome Sam and Jane, who are part of the Fleet Framework team. Let me just share my 2 seconds. It's not come up. There we go. So I'm just going to share the PowerPoint with you, just so you can see what's going on. And I'll go through the agenda and tell you what these lovely ladies are going to speak about. Just wait for it to load up now. 2 seconds. Obviously, it's taking its time today, as always. Come on, presentation. There we go. See, as if by magic, it comes up. I love a bit of technical stuff. Anyway, agenda. Back onto the agenda. So Jane is going to give us a brief overview of the bus shelter framework, and Sam will do the same, but for electrical vehicle charging points. We've got some questions that have already been sent in, which I will ask after each insight from them. I'm now going to hand you over to the lovely Jane, who is going to give us an insight into bus shelters. Over to you, Jane.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. So I'm Jane Harrison, and I work with Sam, who you'll be hearing from next, on the fleet and integrated community care frameworks. Today, I'm going to talk to you about our bus shelter and real-time passenger information framework. This framework was launched in February last year and runs for 4 years. It has 2 lots. Okay, next slide, please, Rich. So on this slide, you can see the lots in detail. So lot 1, we have bus shelters and associated services, and this lot is for the supply of bus shelters, bus stations, canopies and walkways, and trolley and cycle shelters. You can see here that they can be made from many different materials, and we also have associated services, which can include the list there at the bottom. Lot 2 is real-time passenger information systems and associated services. So real-time passenger information does exactly what it says on the tin. It provides the public with live information on timetables, connections and disruptions, helping them to plan their journey accordingly. All our suppliers are able to provide this data on different displays, and you can see the list there of where the displays need to be suitable for. Okay, next slide, please, Rich. So both lots have 3 suppliers. Lot 1, we have Bus Shelters Limited, Externature and Trueform. And lot 2, we have R2P, VIX Technology and Whoosh Media. Next slide, please, Rich. So when I was researching this framework, I was amazed at the bus shelter and real-time offerings out there. So bus shelters can now come in many forms. They don't just have to be the standard glass boxes we all know. Lots of things to think about when designing your shelters. So, you know, how big does it need to be? Do you want seating? Do you want advertising? You know, what material do you want it to be? Does it need to be environmentally friendly? Do you want an air filtering system? And do you want to have real-time screens fitted in it? So on this slide, I have a couple of pictures of bus shelters. These ones probably quite familiar to you all. So picture 1, we have a bus shelter with seating. So these can come in different sizes to suit your requirement. In picture 2, we have a bus shelter with advertising. So these are common and another possible revenue stream for you via the advertiser. Okay, next slide, please, Rich. So these ones are pretty cool. On picture 1, we have a picture of a bus shelter with a built-in filtering system. So these can be especially useful in busy town and city centres where the quality of the air is not great. These bus shelters suck in the dirty air and filter it before being blown back into the shelter. The openings on this bus shelter also create an air curtain instead of doors, which reduces dirty air coming into the shelter. Picture 2, my personal favourite, is the Sedum bus shelter. So these bus shelters have living roofs. Introducing green roofs to bus shelters reduces the peak flow of water into the underground pipework and retains water in the atmosphere. It can also improve city wildlife and are also sometimes called bee bus stops, which I think is lovely. They provide a habitat for many small pollinating creatures, and improve biodiversity. This is so important in busy city centres. And as we all know, local authorities have big environmental targets. Installation of these could really help in the authority meeting them. Okay, next slide, please, Rich. So lot 2, real-time passenger information. It provides the public with live information on timetables, connections and disruptions, helping them to plan their journey accordingly. Long gone are the days of passengers waiting at bus stops in the hope that their transport shows up, or having to ask staff at the information desk about train delays. With real-time passenger information, passengers can enjoy a seamless connected experience. Service updates, accurate bus location, time schedules, route and destination data are just some of the real-time information updates riders can benefit from. And you can see on the picture here, this information is displayed on live video boards at bus stops, in bus shelters or stations, and can be viewed via an app on your mobile device. And that's it from me. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you so much. That was perfect, Jane. Thank you so much. I didn't know actually how you managed to make bus shelters sound so interesting. So actually that was a really good job, but you did it. So well done for that. I do have a couple of questions for you though. Are there any government grants available that local authorities can apply for bus shelters?
Yeah, there are. There is funding available via the National Bus Strategy and Bus Service Improvement Plans. So in October 23, the government announced new funding of over £1 billion to better buses in every part of the North and Midlands. So the main objective of this is to improve the quality of bus services in England outside of London. This funding also includes bus infrastructure improvement. So the first instalment of funding has been allocated to local transport authorities throughout England, with a second application process to be announced. I encourage anyone interested to visit gov.uk, where you will find a detailed overview and application data.
Lovely, thanks. So there you go. That's some great information there. Got another one here, which I'm quite interested in actually. So obviously with the climate change, which is here to stay, as we know, are there any plans for air-conditioned bus shelters, or are there any actually out in the marketplace now?
Yeah, there absolutely are. So these are available. These are sort of sealed, climate-controlled units with a door, and they have glass front. They have a glass front, so you've still got the same visibility as open shelters. Fun fact, apparently quite popular in Dubai, Rich.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously because of the weather, I'm assuming. Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Jane. I really appreciate that. And sit down, have a glass of water and enjoy the rest. And now for the wonderful Sam to give us an overview of electrical vehicle charging points. So there you go, Sam. Over to you. And your mic's on mute, by the way.
Sorry. Thanks, Rich.
That's all right. That's all right.
So, electric vehicle charging points, or EVCP framework, is divided into 2 lots. And there is a lot for cars, lot 1, which has 11 suppliers on it, and 5 suppliers for lot 2. So I'm going to be talking a little bit around this today. Obviously, frameworks provide a compliant way for customers to buy, and all of our frameworks are compliant with Public Contracts Regulations 2015. So understanding your requirement, first and foremost, I think this is what customers really need to do. They need to know what is their requirement. Do you know where you need those chargers? Location information is key, really. How many chargers you would like, and what sort of traffic there is going through those chargers. What type of charges? Do you need fast, rapid or slow? And is there any procurement decisions internally that the local authority may need to make? So which route to market are they deciding on? And are there any grants available? So these are all questions that we've been asked in the past, really. So I would say the information you can get from the following. So supplier engagement, I think, is key. They will be able to give you some input and some very sort of expertise on that subject of EVCP and give you some good advice. There are other areas. Energy Saving Trust can help with grants or energy queries, or your zero carbon journey as well. Gov.uk have grants that they have available, like local electric vehicle infrastructure or the lead-by funding that we're doing at the moment. You saw just a few suppliers earlier. We've got a select few connected curb, EDF, MER, Equans, Blink. There's quite an array there, and I'm sure that you will notice a few that you recognise. Feasibility and things that you may need to think about. Locations and quantity. So suppliers will probably do a desktop exercise, and they look at how much traffic is going through that site. So if it's a car park, they see how much traffic. So are those customers going and staying all day? Are they going through and staying for a couple of hours, or are they just going in their lunchtime and they're just sort of staying for half an hour? And this will be a guide to them on whether it's a feasible site. You may have a site that a customer is putting forward, and you might just have one car that goes there every 2 weeks. Is that a viable site for a customer to pay a lot of money to put a charger in at this time? They probably want to put it where it's viable and they can make an income from it. So the most suitable type of charging point for that location. So is it a rapid, is it a fast, or is it a slow? Slow, you're looking at on-street charges and overnight, really. So if someone goes to a car park and they stay all day, they might need a slow charger. If they are going in their lunch hour, they might need a rapid charge. And if they are staying for a few hours, they might just need a fast. All of these charges cost different amounts of money, but you may need a mixture of those to suit sort of the custom that you're going to get going through that car park or that on-street charging. The cost of use of the charger, so that income that it brings, both for you and the supplier and the customer. So the cost of use of service and management, so over the term, how much is that going to cost? The cost of energy, as we know, the market is very volatile at the moment. So it may be that within your T's and C's, your terms and conditions, you may have to put something in there with review to pricing over a period of time at regular intervals, unfortunately. And then, you know, the cabling and installation of the cabling, that costs quite a lot of money too. So you need to think about where that energy is coming from for that particular site. So where that electricity hub is, you may have to close roads, you may have to dig up roads. So there's a cost implication there. The term of the project to achieve return on investment and income for both the customer and the supplier. So if the supplier is making an investment in that particular project, it may be that your term needs to be longer. So I would say that it's got to be over 12 to 15 years plus, really, so that they can recoup their investment. And that will take several years, to be fair. The income share and the investment share, that will be decided at direct award or further competition point. And that is an investment or income share for the customer and for the supplier. And then the last one is future proofing. It may be that you are thinking about having 2 or 4 chargers put into a car park. But if they're digging up the road and putting cabling in, it might be that you pay for the extra cabling to go for another 2 or 4 chargers, not to have the hardware that goes with them, just to have the cabling underground. So it means that in a year or 2 years' time, when you perhaps want to add more chargers, which is probably the case, you've already got the cable in there to do that. I hope you've picked up a few points and tips from just this very quick overview of EVCP. We have got frequently asked questions available on our website, and we can send out the links after this.
So again, thank you for that, Sam. I know this is quite a hot topic at the moment, especially in local authorities, and we know that this sort of concept of electrical vehicles is obviously here to stay. So I think it's been really informative. I have got some questions though, because obviously we love a question here on PP, as we like to call it. Why is it best to procure through the KCS framework?
Well, I think the KCS framework is easy to use. Our terms and conditions and our set of documents are fairly easy to use for both the supplier and the customer. The pre-selected suppliers from a robust tender process, and the procurement timescales. So if they were to run a tender of their own, it would take a lot longer than just running a quick further competition.
Perfect, thank you. The other thing that I've obviously heard a lot about is this levy funding. Could you possibly give us a little bit more information about that, just so I've got a bit more of an insight?
Yeah, so Levi, sort of, however you want to pronounce it, levy. Yeah, it's local electric vehicle infrastructure, and this is being run by the Department of Transport, and that is for on-street charging mainly. And they're taking applications at the moment. I think applications for tranche 1 were started last year, and then tranche 2 I think starts later on this year. So applications can be made to the Department of Transport for these.
And is that, I take it, that's via the government website, is it?
Yes, you can go to the government website, but I think also the Energy Saving Trust can help with grants as well, so these types of grants and applications, and I think they are looking at applications as well.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you for that. So I'd like to thank you both for your insights that you shared with us today, and actually for the time to take to come into our webinar. I can now actually say to you both, you're now members of the Procurement Pulse Club, so welcome to the club. So that's always an accolade that I think is quite important to, you know, give to our speakers, our guest speakers. So what's coming next month?
Do I get a sticker, Rich?
Well, you can do. I can try and make stickers for us if it's in the budget, or a t-shirt perhaps. So coming next month, again, these webinars, hopefully this year we're going to try and make them bigger and better every month. We've got another special guest speaker, hopefully Laura, who is from the Life Cycle Group. She's going to join us to discuss the benefits of leasing equipment within the NHS. And I know that we're actively doing a leasing framework as we speak. So it's all very relevant. It's live on Thursday, the 29th of February, 11 AM. So obviously look out for all the comms, the LinkedIn stuff, and obviously register as soon as you can. So that's it, really. That's it for another live episode. Again, I'd like to thank Sam and Jane particularly for coming on and for doing this. I know it's not easy, but actually, you know, we're only having a chat, so it's always quite nice. My details are on the screen now. If you want to know anything about any of our frameworks, or particularly the ones that we discussed today, the bus shelters or EVCP, contact me. I'm more than happy to share your details with the framework team to help. Let's not forget MJ. There's his details there again. Even though he's a sick boy, he's still part of the PP club. So there you go. So that's it for this month. Remains for me to say, keep your finger on the pulse, the procurement pulse, and thank you.